Previously on Back to the Story.
Why does this matter so much to you? Who are you that you would face this? For what?
So, Ellery, you fly into the storm, your hair standing on end. You can sense the power in the sky of Voltamari. Amson, you see this as she's raising her hand up to the sky, the orb glowing brighter and brighter. Amson, you've seen this before. A vision this morning, a dream, you're not sure. You feel a hand on your shoulder, Amson, comforting. That is what Conan the Barbarian says every morning he wakes up, looks himself in the mirror, and says, "Da da, Conan the Barbarian." Da.
What?
It made sense in my head. All right, so coming back to the story here, Meli, you rush up and out of below and onto the rotunda where you see the storm spear, the storm outside raging across the city, the sounds of battle throughout it, as well as you see Ellery reaching her hand up as a beam of light, of chaos, streaks into the air. And a moment later, swirling head over heels, the limp body of a shadow dragon falling from the sky, past your level and down onto one of the lower levels. This rotunda is kind of built up on several rocks, kind of almost stacked up on each other. So it's on one of the lower plateaus, but not all the way down. About halfway down, it lands, being splattered by rain as you run out. As you all kind of gather around, recollecting yourself, you notice the sounds of the nearby battle have died down and have become silent.
I, first thing, looking around at everybody, seeing that Ball is clearly the worst off of everybody else, I'm immediately flying down to him first, and just kind of hovering at eye level, I'm just gonna put my hands on either side of his face and cast Cure Wounds at 4th level. Let me figure out what that actually is.
Felix will fly down and kind of land near Vesper and everyone. Everyone all right? Everyone alive?
Barely.
Yeah. I don't think any of us actually went down, though. That was close with Ball for a moment, but...
It was close with me for a moment.
We should patch up and see where else we can help in the city.
That's
I want to get
points.
eyes on the corpse.
23 points for Ball, by the way.
You see the spark in Ball's eyes kind of reignite ever so slightly. Thank you.
Anytime.
Ball looks around to the party and says, we all fought well today. But it might not be over.
Vesper, you got anything that can help us quickly?
I have a bit, yeah. And I'm going to, first off, I'm going to mass healing word again, since we're all gathered up. As Meli is probably jogging over to us. So that will be... Let's do that at... No, it is the 3rd level. Yeah, sorry, fam, we're doing it 3rd level. Oh, no, we're doing it 4th. I'm sorry. I can't read my own handwriting.
For the record, are you planning on channel divinity?
Yeah, but they only have 55 hit points to split between us, and we can't go over half.
I know, but maybe you should do that before you cure, so if anybody's close to half, they will be able to have more to spend.
Alright. Yeah, give me everybody's current stuff. So I know.
Ellery's only down by 16.
Okay, so I can't do anything for you.
I think I'm over half, actually. Let me look at it. I am just barely over half. By like 1 point.
Okay.
Ball is 31.5 hit points away from half.
Okay.
You're flying surrounding the rotunda. A few somethings landing on the roof above.
Okay. Hang on, I'm trying to do math.
I am 32 away from half.
Yes, I have yours.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Ellery is looking up and holding an Eldritch Blast.
I'm gonna give 27 points to Ball and 28 to Felix, and I'm gonna suck it up.
And in the direction of the noise, how far away is that?
You hear it kind of circling around the rotunda, so it varies. Some closer, some further away. You do hear noises on the roof about 150 feet up, kind of landing. And you hear some noises to the south, behind the broken pillar.
It should still be daylight in here, so if we turn and look.
The light spreads out. You don't see anything. I mean, you see the pillar there, but the noise is coming from behind it.
All right. I assume my Aeonic form is done, so I will summon Aeon roughly where I think the noise might be coming from and look through him.
Okay. Summoning the Aeonic form, or Aeon, rather, to that location. Suddenly you see rain falling, darkness, and you see two large figures hanging on the side of the wall. One is a bat, and atop it a humanoid with pale skin and a dark, bushy beard, wearing black scaled dragon armor, riding a bat that is hanging from the side. The other one to the side is not on a bat currently, is standing on the wall horizontally, wearing gleaming golden armor and hair slicked back black, red glowing eyes, with a dark greenish gray greatsword, longer than most, that serpentines back and forth. Demiri kind of turns towards Aeon. Hello there.
Felix will say out loud, Demiri to the south, get ready. Or whichever direction he is, I don't remember which one.
Esper will cast Mass Healing Word at 5th level instead, which is 7, so 21 points back to everybody.
And we start a short rest. And finish it. I tried.
Felix will briefly return to his own site just to kind of walk towards that direction and then get set up with his shield up. And then he'll switch back to Aeon and just keep an eye on Demiri.
I think Ball will kind of go by Felix's side. Learning from the dragon, he'll try to not be directly on top of Felix so he doesn't have some kind of breath on him, but he's close to Felix.
Okay. You all hear a voice coming from over there. It's a shame that we came all this way here for nothing. It's a shame that such a foolhardy creature was defeated by such a ragtag bunch, but maybe you're more than you appear. As Felix, through Aeon, you see him walking up the side of the wall. As you adjust and set up, the lit light eagle that y'all saw earlier swoops to the west, landing not on the rotunda but down kind of on its lower cascading platforms that it lies upon. The figure in gleaming silver armor holding a spear, dark hair, golden glowing eyes, who steps off of it and begins to walk up the stairs, one hand raised up. As Demiri walks up to the edge of the ledge and steps over, righting himself with the rest of you all. His hands clasped behind his back, his greatsword sheathed.
Yeah, I'm keeping Aeon within 5 feet of that dickweed.
The light doesn't seem to bother him.
He walks to the edge of it. So, who is it that I owe the pleasure this encounter?
I'll step up, I guess. Me and my shit charisma.
I think Ellery, seeing Vesper kind of hesitating and looking like she's about to speak, will say, "We're the same ones who fucked up your city before."
Ah, yes, that little scrap with the Umbach embassy. A trifling matter. But at least that puts a face to a reputation. I'm Demiri Voss, King God of Set, and your current invader. Now you took out one of my allies, one I liked very much. Like is a strong word, but he was useful, though clearly not useful enough. At this point you can hear of a few other bats that are kind of climbing on the columns and hanging from the roofs. Just a few of them, about 3 of them around the rotunda, of one of which you all, especially Hamson, distinctly remember the face of. Pale, bushy black beard, eyes dark, and he is wearing armor you're familiar with. Dark, black dragon scale armor, as he's riding this bat kind of halfway upside down. At this point, the female with dark tan skin, black hair, and golden glowing eyes begins to step up the stairs, one hand raised cautiously, slowly, onto the rotunda itself. Demiri speaks again. Now, whose gut do I have to unload for a bit of revenge? As he places his hand on the sword. Demiri. The female speaks up, her hand raised, eyes locking intensely with him. In the name of my ancestors, the oath you swore to your brother, stand down. We're not here for that. Demiri snarls in anger, shrugging it off, as he takes a few steps back, before leaning against the pillar, arms crossed and folded, scowling, as the other figure steps forward. Do you know who I am?
Athenira, I assume?
Empress Athenia Ralakia.
Right, okay, well, we're all friends here, so fuck with the titles.
Titles are important, but I'm not here for them. You said you've been to Set.
Yes.
So you know where it is that we come from. The conditions we live. Shadows,
We're
despair,
aware.
Forsaken. For generations. So you understand why we do this. Why it must be done.
Your goals, yes. Your methods, less so.
Would you have given the opal to Hex? Would they have freely offered it? You are not fools, you know what the answer is.
Well, considering the last dragon that got a hold of it almost destroyed the world, I think there is a point to their reservations.
Wise words, yes. I was cautious about aligning with such a creature, but these proved useful so far.
Sadly,
not.
I don't think he will again.
Sadly so.
Actually, I'm going to keep my vision in Aeon. I want to keep eyes on Hex's body and make sure that no one is touching it.
Okay. You see a few soldiers running this way and that, a few kind of looking over, prodding it, most very cautiously looking around corners before approaching anywhere near it. So far, no one's getting too close to it.
All right. If there's any, people that go up, I'm just going to float the head and, like, shake it no.
Okay.
It can't speak, so I'm just going to,
A few of the guards spook. One of them tries to strike out with a spear, going straight through the non-corporeal form of Aeon before they kind of back off away from it.
You said you agree with our actions, though not the method.
With your goal, I don't think it's right that you were punished for your ancestors' sins. I don't think it's right that you people should live in the dark, in the cold and the misery. For things
I think we can... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think we can all agree that the whole situation is fucked.
It is, how you say, fucked. Our people have been punished for long enough. For generations we lived that way. No more. This is our chance. And if it is given freely, we will accept it freely, but if not, we will take it. I do not wish that. I've seen enough sorrow in my life. My parents, my grandparents, they've seen enough. But you see what we are willing to do, to align with dragons of shadow, to bring to your doorstep the dead are dead. Generations fight here, some living, some dead. Spirits, their bones, we will grind to dust to achieve what is right. How is that a sin?
I don't believe that anyone deserves to suffer just for an accident of birth. Now that goes for you and everyone who was born in shadows, but that also goes for all the people living here.
You didn't choose to rebel just as they didn't choose to subjugate you. Maybe we can help. Maybe.
They worship those who subjugate us.
But they're not infallible. They're not always right. They're not even always helpful.
No, we've tested that. You want to help? How?
What would you need?
We seek to bring down the gate, to remove the gods' cowardly protection. I seek, personally, to kill Valaso.
What you fail to see is that the door you aim to break is trapped, and that upon doing so, you will unleash something. I don't know if you know you intend to or not, but I think something inside you does.
You know the spirits still, the ones that walk among the stars.
Yes, the red ones, I take it?
They have guided me here, and they will guide me to this completion.
But do you understand what else it is that they want? It's not just to take down the gate. It's to take down everything.
The end of the annulus. The end of all things. There would be no light to come home to. There would be no land to restore to your people. There would be nothing.
There already is no land.
There wouldn't be no vengeance.
There would be nothing. Less than nothing. There would be void and emptiness and the end of you and all of your people and all of ours and all of the gods and all of existence.
Who promises these things? The gods. They are fallible.
Actually, it was one of your crimson spirits. One who found his mind among that which resided in him and came to warn us. Or them, rather.
The cycle is a chance again for our people.
There's a way to end the cycle of the red and silver spirits without ending the annulus, and it does require the gate to fall. Maybe we can seek this solution.
At this point, Felix, if you're popping in and out, you do notice a hooded figure with a sort of braided, boxy, Byzantine looking beard, bluish gray skinned underneath these abnormally large eyes that's standing at a distance, kind of circling around Hex, inspecting. About 30 feet away, it was circling around.
I have told you my goals. That we seek to remove the gate. If this puts us at odds, I regret it, but it must be done. If there is another way to avoid death, destruction. I have trained for battle my whole life. Everyone in my line has for this moment, and I will fight if I must. But only if I must.
If we find a way to bring the gate down without also ending existence, that's a worthy goal. It's what we've been trying to do, figure out how to do, right?
Just to interrupt, Felix is gonna just blatantly walk away from the conversation and go try and get where he can get closer and eyes on the body himself. Hopefully within 120 feet. I don't know how far he fell.
Are you flying?
I have the staff, so yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah, so you can easily make it begin flying down there without too much issue. As you do, you see a figure bloodied, but stoic, like most of the blood isn't theirs, riding a direwolf up the stairs. They're on the lower platform, but they're riding up. As Felix, you begin to come closer to the mass that is X.
Right.
It was.
Seeing the figure on the direwolf, I assume Queen?
You would assume correctly.
All right, I will just think to Amson and let him know that she's on her way up.
Amson will quietly say, Felix has notified me that the Queen of Wolves is coming up.
Now, damn it. Look, you want the gate down. We want the cycle of red and silver ended. These aren't opposing goals.
Athanira, these incompetent fools have no idea the scale they're discussing.
Quite, Demiri.
Felix will think to Vesper. Give her your shield.
I will take off the shield and hold it out flat as a sign of good faith and, offer it to her. Take this.
She clasps her hands over one another and does a terse bow before accepting it.
And as it's passing, I'll think to Felix, she's got it.
It is... Go ahead, Felix.
No, let her speak.
It is customary that we return gifts.
And she pulls from her back a hatchet that was kind of latched onto the small of her back, and she gives you a kind of throwing axe hatchet.
And then Felix will think to her, I don't mean to alarm you, but this will allow us to at least retain conversation, but I don't think we can speak freely much longer.
Fine. We will discuss further another time. I hope we can find a method forward. And if not, I give my word and my oath that I will kill you with honor, and I hope you will do the same if you can muster it. Demiri, take your armies back. Turn them back from this city and prepare for the next step.
Yes, my empress. As he gives a sarcastic, very deep bow, left hand out to the side, before he walks off the edge. A moment later, upon bat's wings. At that point, the other bats and their vampiric riders ride off with him down to the south, towards the gate where the mass of the army was. The eagle of light lands softly behind her.
With that shield, we'll be able to speak with you. And I hope sincerely that we can find a peaceful solution.
Let us pray, not to the gods, but to the spirits, that we find a way. And if not, good luck.
She begins to mount up on the eagle of golden light. As she does so, the dire wolf, this kind of bingle colored red with fur or blood or both, rides up, ridden upon by the queen, Wolfrath Isadilla. They nod briefly to each other as the eagle lifts into the air and flies away, down and south.
Did the dude who was stalking around Hex's body leave?
No, and at this point he is approaching the body a little closer around the head, inspecting it.
Yeah, I will hover Aeon next to it, and then bonus action to Neon Shift to teleport right next to him. Hi, what are you doing?
Hello. I'm inspecting my friend here. You have some curious abilities.
Yes, well, I've gone into a lot of deep holes.
As have I.
He smiles wide, his teeth normal but spaced out a little too much.
You wouldn't mind if I take a souvenir for my friend? A few scales would be of interest to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna just dibs the whole thing. Sorry.
And if I do not comply?
Well, I can contact my friends with a thought, and while you and I could probably tango together for a bit on our own, I think once they arrive, things will go south pretty quick.
Yes, and I will be killed, I'm sure.
Tell me this. What is it that why do you want some of the scales? I can't help but feel it's for something nefarious.
Well, your feeling is correct. I'm an experimenter of all things, and it is not every day you come in contact with such a ancient form of dragon of shadows. It is not very commonly that you can be so intimate with its corpse.
Well, as an experimenter myself, let me tell you, I have plans for much of this corpse. So if you don't mind...
You do? This is very interesting as well. Will you update me on your experimentation? I would very much like to see your notes.
Well, I presume you have ways of getting in touch with me now that you've seen me. So, why don't you scuttle along, back with all of your friends, and maybe later, my friends will show you what I made with him.
Fine. Have it your way. I'll be in touch. I should introduce myself. My name is Grand Architect Ineres Soltarian.
And he raises his fist out, almost like he's going to shake it, but it's a fist.
Felix Paleth, the, shepherd of your enemies.
Goats, yes. I have tasted them on occasion. I will be in touch with you, Mr. Felix. Ta-ta.
Can't wait.
And he strolls off between buildings, away from X.
Felix will have a little bit of a moment where he will just look at Hex, and then he does like the Mr. Burns fingers thing.
Jesus Lord, save us from our sins.
God can't help us now.
So Felix, you're planning to do whatever you're going to do with Hex's corpse. The rest of you atop the rotunda as Queen Isabella Wolfrath rides back up, somewhat wounded, but mostly okay, atop the rotunda, dismounting, almost ignoring you all, pulling her helm off, placing it on the table, leaning over it before turning, half sitting against the table.
How goes the battle below?
She looks out towards the retreating skeletal army. You hear cheers throughout the city from its defenders and the vanguards and the griffins and the wyvern riders, the cavalry. Well enough, I suppose. I think we've had a victory here today.
Just keep in mind that it might not last.
Might not. We've lost a few today as well. Maybe this city is in need of central leadership in these trying times. Someone who's prepared and knows war well. Someone with an army to defend it. Someone descended from one of the gods who resides here.
That's not what Nymunet is for. It's a sanctuary where all the gods are equal. Can't put one above the others.
I don't think that's necessarily your choice to make, with all due respect.
Well, we'll see how the city feels about it. My forces, what's left of them, have in great part helped defend the city. And I don't think I want to make the long ride back to Western. I think I might stick around here for a little while.
Got a quicker way to get you there if that's what your concern is.
I appreciate the offer, but I think I'll stay here. You've proven yourself capable. I'm sure we can work together. For now, and help clean up the city. I'll see you at the top. She takes a swig of one of the glasses that was left from the feast, cold now, before taking her helmet and mounting the wolf again and slowly riding down back into the city. We're going to wrap up here. So y'all kind of give me an idea of what you're doing, any last conversations, etc., and we'll find a place to stop shortly. Katie, Meli, thank you for joining us.
All right. Sorry I was late.
You're good.
I don't know. I have stuff, but I don't know if it would be better now or waiting until the next session, because I don't know how much time things are going to take.
All Felix will be doing would be asking Vesper to come down with her biggest knife and taking measurements of her and Ball. And maybe Amson, if there's enough dragon. It feels like there should be enough dragon. Anyway, I want all of it, so start hacking.
Yeah, I guess I'm butchering a dragon for Felix. Fuck yeah.
I think before Vesper goes down there to do that, I am just going to kind of grab her elbow. Hey, Vesper. I don't know about where all this is going. I know you want to save the world and all, and save everyone at the same time. And I kind of pause. But you know I don't actually think you're a goody two-shoes, right?
Well, I just offered to help the will tear down the divine gate, so I appreciate you for having eyes. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. And with my foot in my mouth, I will.
With your foot in your mouth, you will hop down to where Felix is.
Whoa, oh my god.
What I wanted to do, though, before we were done, is just while I'm helping Felix, I'm going to cast Sending to Braun. How'd it go?
Not as expected. I'm sure you're aware. I was hoping we could find another arrangement. to an outcome. Not sure what happens now.
I guess that's a question for tomorrow. Are you at the temple? I can buy you a drink in the morning.
Are you casting it again?
Yeah, I am, yes.
I will be around. I'll reach out tomorrow.
And I shove my hands back into the dragon.
Okay. Vesper, as you're carving up the dragon under Felix's direction, make a survival check. I'll say at advantage since Felix is directing you to which parts he wants.
And I got them, so go ahead and add +5.
Oh, thank you so much. That's going to be a 35 then, I think?
Okay.
21 plus 14, yeah.
You get a ton of this, and I'll figure out how much a ton actually is. It will take you a while to accomplish this, but you're going to able to, anything that's salvageable, you're basically able to get. Some scales are still broken from the conflict, but you're able to get more or less all that's remaining. It will take you a few hours to do it. You can get some in now and finish up later with that same roll. I'm going to write this roll down, if you would too, just so I can remember it. But I'll have it written down as well. So as we kind of begin to phase out, Felix and Vesper are hacking up a dragon. Amson, Ball, Meli, Hillary, what are you guys doing as we kind of begin to fade out? As you see the armies of the undead retreating, cheers throughout the cities, fire beginning to be put out, the storm beginning to die down to a drizzle, and it's still dark, it's still night, but the shadows receding somewhat, and the cloud coverage moving so that the sliver crescent of the moonlight gives a little bit of dim light.
Ball is kind of seated. He's found something to lean against next to or near Hex's body, and is just kind of admiring what they were able to accomplish today, while also kind of starting his short rest and trying to lick his wounds and kind of get ready for what's to come. If Vesper, with her natural 100 roll, if Vesper wants, she can instruct Ball to help out with some stuff to maybe shorten the time, if that's possible.
Yeah, that'd be certainly possible. If, Ball, you want to get in there and help hold limbs up or break bones and the like to help ease that along that time.
Yeah, that's what Ball will do then.
Okay. And Ball, I'll say, as you're helping out doing this, you can see some of the marks left by Avamor from your swings into it that broke some of these scales and left a mark. Not quite a brand, but the remnants or the beginnings of one. You can kind of see the pattern in the broken scales.
Can I make any sense of what this mark might have been?
You have a connection to Avamor. You understand what it can do, and you think this is sort of an indication of what it can. The runes cracking open easily through the scales where other weapons might not be able to.
All right, I think maybe while Ball's helping Vesper, when he notices those, he kind of pauses and takes a moment to kind of appreciate it and, just reflect on what this means.
Amson, Meli, Hillary.
I will also come down to see Hex and to kind of, similar to Ball, admire my handiwork, but also kind of trying to figure out what all these pieces mean. The seemingly constant contradiction in Ellery's mind of worthy, unworthy, powerful, powerless. Just kind of contemplating that, looking over her friends, watching them, thinking about how much they all were hurt in this fight, when she was barely touched. And especially, I think, watching Ball. But mostly just kind of stepping it back a bit and watching.
Amson, I guess, as everybody's walking, he'll probably, like, start rubbing his forehead, like he's got some sort of, like, stress headache or something like that. And then he'll eventually walk down to where Hex is and sit on some piece of rubble that his body probably crushed when it landed or something. And he'll rub his forehead once more and take out his book and look out at the battlefield that Nymunet has turned into. And he'll start writing in Elvish like he usually does.
Are you done? I don't want to interrupt you if it's okay again. So Meli is gonna sit next to Ball whilst he's having his short rest and ask his opinion on what spells he thinks she should take next. And then when he goes to help hack up the dragon, she'll go and watch, and she'll put a hand over her heart where her bronze scale tattoo is and just think about how fucking crazy this has gotten from when they were kids just playing on the beach to now. And that's it.
And as those thoughts go through each of your minds of worthiness, of stress, of times as children playing on the beach, you watch as Ball cracks one of the arms so that Vesper can, covered in blood, that's being continuously washed off by the rain, probably cackling like a mad person. Maybe not. Okay. Either way.
No, that's Felix. Like,
okay.
At every piece that comes off, he's like, ooh, okay. And he's like holding it up to Vesper and Ball.
And the soldiers and the vanguards that have kind of come around and were cheering at the death of Hex, the shadow dragon, go from joy to like, concern to active fear. And are kind of backing up, clenching their weapons a little tight.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and they're shooing the civilians kind of to stay inside your houses. We're not sure if it's safe.
Felix will toss a few dragon teeth. He can spare some if they want a souvenir.
Okay.
Cackling, covered in blood, and throwing teeth at them.
They visibly flinch. Shields go up. As all this happens, y'all think about those things as the storm slowly begins to subside and a peaceful night begins to return to Nymunet, to God's Rest in Northville. And we will pick up next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. If you liked what you heard, give us a subscription. We're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and more. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. And if you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can always email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. For behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, memes, updates, and more, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr, back-to-the-story.tumblr.com. Lastly, if you're in a generous mood, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory. We'll see you next time in Northville.